right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called End of Days, 1999. This is going to be another quarterback recommendation. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 stars. I love this flick. Even though it has phony theology. All right. If it kind of reminded me of the Da Vinci Code with its phony theology. It even goes so far as having a priest who coincidentally goes by the name of Father Michael Rocha. He holds up the 666 upside down, and 999 is supposed to represent 1999, which is the year of the movie, coincidentally. And there's your theology from Hollyweird. All right, End of Days is a 1999 U.S. action horror film directed by Peter Hyams and written by Andrew W. Marlowe. It stars Arnold Schwarzenegger with Gabriel Byrne, Robert Turney, Kevin Pollak, Roger Steiger, CCH Pounder, Derek O'Connor, Miriam Margolis, and Udo Kier. I forgot to put Udo Kier's name in here. What's wrong with me? Oh, I did put his name. Never mind. Those were all supporting roles that I just mentioned after Arnold. The so-called Republican who supports Kamala Harris. All right. So here's the deal with my last video. I had to do a redo because the dude complained that I talked about shirtless guys on his channel and Diary of a Nudist, and he complained about Karate Man and Adrian being in the chat room. So I said, okay, fine. That's what my channel is all about. We do spontaneous interviews we do spontaneous live chats here, live streaming. We're all about the live stream, live chat on this channel. If you don't like it, if you just want prefabricated videos, then get it from somebody else's channel. He didn't even bother to upload it, the first video that he was offended by somehow. And then the redo that I did still wasn't good enough because it was a live stream, and YouTube doesn't allow other people to upload live streams, which I just learned. Today I learned something new, and I can't get my cell phone to record videos anymore. So he's SOL, this guy, Jacob Henkoff, or Jacob Lenhoff, excuse me. He's SOL. He's not getting any of his of my videos on his channel. I should have just left the first one up. Anyways, going down my list, I've got Jaws: The Revenge, 1987, which I won't get to tonight, thanks to Jacob Lenhoff wasting my time. The Package, 1989, and Raw Deal, 1986. A bunch of 80s movies here coming down the pike. All right, getting back to End of Days film. The film follows alcoholic former New York Police Department detective Jericho Kane Schwarzenegger, who, after he saves a banker Byrne from an assassin, finds himself embroiled in a religious conflict and must protect an innocent young woman, Tunny, who was chosen by evil forces to conceive the Antichrist with Satan. So this is a mix of Rosemary's Baby and some kind of apocalyptic movie. Oh, Y2K, doom and gloom, and then throw in there some I don't know. This is a mismatch of different. Throw in some Da Vinci Code fake theology, and this is the mess that you come up with from Hollyweird. I like it though. It kept me going for 2 hours with the explosions and all the crazy action in this movie. I like the movie poster too. All right. The film was released by Universal Pictures in North America and Buena Vista internationally on November 24th, 1999, and it received largely negative reviews. It grossed $212 million worldwide. I can't wait to get to the reviews for this. Lame stream movie, Karate Man recommendation. All right. Just production company Beacon Pictures, distributed by Universal Pictures North America, Buena Vista International. Release date November 24th, 1999, right before Y2K. Running time 122 minutes, which is super long, but I still enjoyed every minute of it. A budget of $100 million and a box office of $212 million. Not a bad return on investment, double their money. In 1979, a Vatican City priest witnesses a comet arching over the full moon, signifying a prophecy of the apocalypse. We're talking Revelations, book 20, verse 7. The Pope sends a priest on a mission to protect a newborn baby, Christine York, which is like Christ in New York, I guess. I don't know. Identified in New York by Satanists as one chosen to be the mother of Satan's child. Some Vatican knights, a bunch of Masonic people led by a corrupt cardinal insists that she must die. But the Pope rejects their plan as it goes against God's will. So the implication here is that Masonic forces are in the Vatican. We like this movie already. Ever since Vatican II, that's what's been happening. The Masonic forces. 20 years later, during late December 1999, Satan possesses an investment banker. He then gropes the wife of a business associate, and he causes the restaurant to explode. Alcoholic retired detective Jericho Kane, depressed since his wife's and daughter's contract killings, runs a private security company, and he blames God for his misfortunes. Oh, he sounds like my grandmother. Jericho and friend Bobby Chicago are assigned to protect the possessed banker. Priest Thomas Aquinas fails to kill the banker. Jericho captures Aquinas, and after his ramblings, gives him to the New York City Police Department, NYPD. Marge Francis, an NYPD detective, tells Jericho that Aquinas has no tongue. If all this is very confusing to you, it was confusing to me too, even though I had my full attention on the so-called plot. Jericho and Bobby investigate Aquinas' apartment, finding his tongue in a jar. And that was, you gotta love a movie that has tongue in a jar and messages and symbols written in blood on the walls. Aquinas was trained by the Vatican and was sent to New York before disappearing. Jericho questions Father Kovac, a priest who knew Aquinas. Oh, there's Father Michael Rocha, who also happens to be one of the priests that got booted out of my parish. I got booted out of Legion of Mary, and Father Michael Rocha got booted out of Star of the Sea Parish. However, Kovac refuses to tell much about Aquinas. Later in the evening, Satan confronts his head priest, who reveals that his followers are ready to enact his plans. Satan then takes an interest in Doctor's wife and daughter. Later, the three have sex. Oh, this is the orgy scene that I'm going to get in trouble for in confession tomorrow. And I forgot to confess that Jaws 3 was blasphemous. This movie is blasphemous and it contains nudity. Just in case you're Catholic, you can avoid this one if it offends you. Satan eventually combines their bodies into an image of Christine to have sex with it. So it becomes group sex with the family that plays together, stays together, I guess. And then it becomes some kind of nightmare where Christine is the one having the sex. The day after, Satan enters Aquinas' hospital and crucifies him on the ceiling. After he is presumed dead, Jericho and Chicago read in Latin, Christ in New York, carved into his skin. They begin searching for any similar names and come across Christine New York in her apartment. Well, that's a pretty good computer system. You go from Christ in New York to Christine New York. Arnold must have a computer in his brain or something. Jericho and Chicago rescue her from being killed by the Vatican Knights. These are Masonic people inside the Vatican. However, Satan then appears and emulates Chicago. Jericho and Christine flee. Marge and another officer, both revealed to be Satanists, demand that Jericho surrenders Christine. Jericho instead kills them both. Satan resurrects Marge to rally the other Satanists to do his bidding. Taking refuge in the church, Kovac tells Jericho Christine that Satan must impregnate her by midnight on New Year's Eve to usher in the apocalypse. This is where all this phony 1999 apocalypse prediction comes from. And Elvis is still alive. Hitler too. Christine accepts Kovac's protection, and Jericho leaves her there. Satan confronts Jericho at his apartment and tries to tempt him into giving up Christine in exchange for resurrecting his dead family. After Jericho resists his temptations, Chicago appears, and the two agree to retrieve Christine. At the church, Jericho stops the cardinal and his knights from killing Christine. Satan reappears and kills the Vatican clergy. Chicago betrays Jericho, leaving him to be beaten and crucified by Satanists, revealing that he made a pact with Satan in exchange for his resurrection. After Chicago leaves with Christine, Kovac finds and rescues Jericho. After his recovery, Jericho tracks down Satan to his lair, kills Marge again, and rescues Christine. In the ensuing fight, he convinces Chicago to resist Satan's influence. Satan later kills Chicago for breaking their pact. Jericho destroys the lair, escapes with Christine into a subway tunnel, and boards a train. Satan follows them, killing the train's driver. Jericho fires a grenade, destroying the train car Satan was in. Satan abandons the banker's irreparably damaged body to pursue Jericho and Christine, leaving him to die. Jericho and Christine arrive at another church where he renews his faith in God and prays for strength. Satan appears as a winged creature and possesses Jericho. Satan, now in Jericho's body, attempts to rape Christine. Responding to her pleas, Jericho resists long enough to deliberately impale himself on a nearby sword from a statue of Archangel Saint Michael, which is propaganda. The statue is propaganda because it has Archangel Saint Michael in legionnaire outfit with a sword, sacrificing himself to prevent Satan's endgame. At the stroke of midnight, Satan is sent back to hell. Jericho sees his wife and daughter waiting for him in the afterlife, and he dies peacefully. Christine embraces him as the world celebrates a new millennium. Wow. Margolis is in this? I forgot to put Margolis in this. Adrian is posting some kind of anti-Catholic nonsense. I'm not even going to respond to that in the chat room because he has absolutely nothing to say about Catholic confession that makes any sense whatsoever. Just to let you know, there is no salvation outside the Catholic Church. So if you do some kind of act of contrition without a priest there, you're just pushing your luck, let's say. All right, director Sam Raimi and Guillermo del Toro were offered End of Days, but turned it down due to other projects. It makes sense that Guillermo del Toro would direct this movie because he's got all kinds of satanic crap in his house. Marcus Nispel was going to direct the film, but he left because of budget and script problems, and he was replaced by Peter Hyams. The role of Jericho Kane was written for Tom Cruise, but he chose to work on Magnolia, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was then cast in March 1998. Liv Tyler was the first choice for the role of Christine York, but she declined over contractual issues. Kate Winslet was then set to play the character, but she dropped out, and Robert Tunney replaced her, according to Hyams. Jim Cameron was kind of godfather of me doing that film because of his relationship with Schwarzenegger. He told me I was doing it. End of Days was going to be Marcus Nispel, but it wasn't working somehow. But they had Arnold and a start date, and Jim came to me and told me I had to do it. This was the first picture Arnold had made for a couple of years. I think he had a heart thing, so this was Arnold coming back, and he wanted to try to make something good and to take some chances. I applauded that, and we had a very, very good actors around him, like Gabriel Byrne and Kevin Pollak and Rod Steiger. I don't even know who these people are. It was a very enjoyable experience. Halfway through shooting, I told Arnold I thought he should die in this movie. Of course, Universal blanched at that idea. So I shot the ending both ways, and everybody agreed that the dying ending was the better one. Over 60 visual effects shots were created by Rhythm and Hughes. In 2016, actress Miriam Margolis complained about Arnold Schwarzenegger's behavior on the set. In 2022, Margolis reported that he farted in her face while on set. I would like to see that in the In the outtakes, Schwarzenegger did not respond to the allegations. That would have made a good bonus feature. Arnold Schwarzenegger farting in Miriam Margolis' face. The film's soundtrack primarily contains tracks by industrial rock and alternative metal bands. It features OMG, the first song released by the new lineup of Guns N' Roses. Oh, so I got to give Guns N' Roses credit. It figures that they would name a song after blasphemy. Guns N' Roses, OMG. Music by... It sounds horrible, by the way. The end credits... I guess Guns N' Roses turned into industrial. They went from hard rock to industrial, alternative metal. That sounds about right, because Metallica went from speed metal to grunge. During the editing of End of Days, soundtrack songs were overlaid in scenes that are usually silent in thriller films. In several scenes, a sample of Spectrasonic's Symphony of Voices is heard. The film for the score is composed by John Debney and conducted by Pete Anthony. End of Days opened on November 24th, 1999. End of Days was released on DVD and VHS on April 18th, 2000. After Satan gets sent back to hell, Jericho dies from his wounds, and Christine tearfully embraces his body and thanks him for saving her life. Suddenly, God removes the sword that comes from a phony Archangel St. Michael from Jericho's body and heals his wounds, bringing him back to life. Christine is surprised and glad Jericho is back, and they embrace before leaving church together. That's the alternate ending. I would have liked to have seen that, but unfortunately, we all were once Catholic in Europe until King Henry formed the Church of England. You mean the apostate, heretical, schismatic Church of England? Do you mean the greedy, bloodthirsty King Henry VIII? Is that what you're referring to? End of Days grossed $31 million in the United States and Canada from its 5-day Wednesday opening, with a gross of $20.5 million in its opening 3-day weekend. It ranked third place at the U.S. box office, behind Toy Story 2 and The World Is Not Enough. The film went on to gross $66,889,043 in the United States and Canada, and $145.1 million elsewhere, for a worldwide total of $212 million against a budget estimated at $100 million. Although it was profitable because of strong international revenue and DVD sales, its final numbers fell short of Universal Studios' expectations. Schwarzenegger received a salary of $25 million for his role in the film. What a waste of money. And he didn't have farting in the actress's face. He's making $25 million, and his thanks to his coworker is to fart in her face. Review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes gives the film an 11% Rotten score based on 103 critic reviews, with an average rating of 3.8 out of 10. Now, here's the fun part. The site's consensus states an overblown thriller with formulaic action scenes and poor acting. Boy, that's right up Karate Man's alley. We like those kind of movies. Metacritic gives the film a weighted average score of 34 out of 100 based on 33 critics, indicating generally unfavorable reviews. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of a B- on an A+ to F scale. So once again, CinemaScore is more accurate than Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes. Newsweek wrote that Peter Hyams' lurid, FX-happy thriller slams pieces of a dozen other movies into a noxious new compound. It has to be seen to be believed, but who'd want to? I would want to. While Mark Kermode called it idiotic beyond the point of redemption, the sinfully stupid Farrago manages to insult audiences and critics, Christians and Satanists alike, reducing 2,000 years of fertile mythology to the level of an incoherent pop video. Yes, we love it. USA Today called Schwarzenegger's performance among his worst, noting that he seems to have trouble with his lines and he doesn't get to make his trademark wisecrack. Oh, I guess you haven't seen Around the World in 100 Days. The Los Angeles Times critic Eric Harrison called it bloodless as a cyborg, and it feels as if it has been assembled according to diagrams supplied by someone who studied every successful sci-fi action thriller and then multiplied the findings by 10. Yes. We like rip-off movies that multiply by 10. The New York Times wrote that The End of Days is as incoherent about its mysticism as it is about anything else. However, there were a few mixed reviews. The San Francisco Chronicle stated, there are moments in End of Days when Schwarzenegger seems to be gunning for an Oscar, and those moments play like comic relief. James Byrne called it a deliciously bad motion picture. Right on! We love those so bad that they're good type movies on this channel. While Roger Ebert stated that End of Days involves a head-on collision between the ludicrous and the absurd, giving it 2 stars out of 4. We don't pay attention to Roger Ebert on this channel. In a retrospective editorial 20 years since the film's release, Bloody Disgusting highlighted how the film is always fascinating and entertaining. Yeah, we like Bloody Disgusting on this channel. Forget Roger Ebert. Schwarzenegger later said he thought Hyams was the wrong director for the film. Yeah, after he farted in that woman's face. He did not have the potential, I think, visually and intellectually to really do something with that movie, but he was recommended by James Cameron. So we thought, well, he must know. It's not what you know, it's who you know in this business, which is why End of Days is such a enjoyable rotten movie. End of Days was nominated for 3 Razzie Awards: Worst Actor, Arnold Schwarzenegger; Worst Supporting Actor, Gabriel Byrne; and Worst Director, Peter Hyams, and was pre-nominated for Worst Picture, but it was drawn shortly before the awards ceremony. It also received a nomination from the Motion Picture Sound Editors for Best Sound Editing, Effects, and Foley, as well as 2 nominations in the Blockbuster Entertainment Awards for Favorite Actor, Action Science Fiction, and for Favorite Supporting Actor, Action Science Fiction, for Arnold Schwarzenegger and Kevin Pollak, respectively. All right. Moving along. I I have no idea why Adrian is bringing up Martin Luther again. I guess he's drunk. I have no idea. Martin Luther was a heretic who married a nun who said that Jesus, our Lord Jesus Christ, fornicated 3 times. I don't know why everybody loves Martin Luther. I can't. I just don't get it. He's an evil man. He went straight to hell. I'm sure, just like Judas. All right. End of Days, 1999, rated R, 2 hours, 2 minutes. It gets a somewhat lukewarm but decent rating of 5.8 out of 10, 118,000 ratings. Its popularity is 3,376, which is not that big, but it is up 697. At the end of the century, Satan visits New York in search of a bride. It's up to an ex-cop who now runs an elite security outfit fit to stop him. Gabriel Byrne, the man. Robin Tooney is hot. I don't care if she's a lousy actor. Okay, more like this. We've got The 6th Day, Eraser, Collateral Damage, and Red Heat. All of Karate Man's favorite movies. All right, Arnold Schwarzenegger. First film since Batman and Robin. I would like to see Batman and Robin. That one gets bad ratings too. The reason for the gap was because of his heart surgery after playing Mr. Freeze. The studios were anxious about whether or not they could insure him, and despite attempts to convince them that he was in perfect health, he couldn't get any work until End of Days, 2 years later, 1999. Even then, he was amazed when insurance people and executives from Universal came to the set just to watch him, to see if he was still up to the action scenes. They asked Schwarzenegger if he enjoyed this kind of punishment, but he said he was used to it. After the first week of shooting, the insurance guys backed off, and not long after, the film offers started rolling in again. Cha-ching, $25 million. Now I can pay off all my credit cards. Although we see Satan move into a new body in the film, he goes to great lengths to protect his current one. This is because he's got a lot of effort in this one. He tells Christina that this is the face she's seen all of her life, for instance. Quotes from Satan. How do you expect to defeat me when you are but a man, but I am forever? That's a good question. I mean, he's a fallen angel. He's got more intelligence. I thought Satan was supposed to be beautiful. But the actor doesn't look beautiful to me. Isn't Satan, the name Satan come from light bearer or something? I don't know. Arnie's old bodybuilding friend, Franco Columbo, is credited as a utility stuntman under the name Dr. Franco Columbo. Allegedly, test screen versions of the film had the following alternate scenes. On the train sequence, before Satan leaps across the carriages, he points and says, Jericho, I will cast you down like my father did to me at the beginning of time. This was in the test screening, but cut in the final version. Jericho impales himself on the statue of Archangel Saint Michael and is believed to be dead, but then opens his eyes and pushes himself off the sword. His wound is miraculously healed. And then he and Christine walk out of the church. I mentioned that alternate ending previously when I was reading from the Wikipedia page, featured in Siskel and Ebert, Sleepy Hollow, 42 Up, The World Is Not Enough, Mansfield Park, and Rosetta from 1999. Sleepy Hollow was a decent movie with Johnny Depp. Soundtracks: Little Yurt on the Prairie, written by David Hoffner and Kungar All Ondar, published by Friends of Autumn Publishing and Tuva. Much music performed by Kungar Ol Ondar as Ondar, courtesy of Warner Brothers Records Inc., by arrangements with Warner Special Effects. All right, here's a decent review from Wadu One, April 3rd, 2001, giving it an 8 out of 10, which is lower than my rating, but still pretty decent. The title of the review on IMDb is Good Action Movie That Doesn't Deserve to Be Trashed. Arnold does some good work in this movie. I liked his role as suicidal, alcoholic wise ass. I think some people were shocked to hear Arnold speak more than one line at a time in an action movie, but for the one-liners, you get some good ones like Arnie to the devil. You're a bleeping choir boy compared to me. And Arnie to his best friend. Stop being such a... Can I say that word? Stop being such a sissy. With the PU in place of the SI. Also, a good performance was put in by the guy who played Satan. The way he blew up the van, very creative. Kind of reminded me of Robert De Niro in Angel Heart a little bit. The portrayal of Satan. The only thing I didn't really like about this movie was the ending. I would have liked to see Arnold win in a different way. Overall, and 8 of 10 didn't deserve the bad press it got. There are other action movies like this one that are so much better received for some reason. Religion's a very sensitive subject, so maybe that's where the negative stuff came from. Yeah, like they just conjured up theology out of thin air. Just like Da Vinci Code type theology. All right. So that's the end of my review. I'm going to update my list. Have you ever reviewed Beast of the Yucca Flats? Eraserhead? Love Sleepy Hollow? Well, I've watched both of them. I love both. I love both movies, although Beast of the Yucca Flats is kind of hard to watch. It's one of those so bad that it's good type movies. Eraserhead is great. But I haven't reviewed them because I saw them a really long time ago, and I don't like to re-review movies that I've already seen. I try to review movies that I haven't seen yet. That's just me. Sorry about that, but I did go back and add some. I think somebody asked me to review The Day the Earth Stood Still, maybe Creature from the Black Lagoon. Yeah, I've got The Day the Earth Stood Still, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Witchfinder General, The Abominable Dr. Phibes, Dr. Phibes Rises Again, Theater of Blood. These are all movies that I've seen, but I'm going to watch them again and re-review them. So I did start making exceptions. Then I went back to my old rule of not reviewing movies that I've already seen but not reviewed. Now I'm back to that old rule because what good is it to review movies that I've already seen if 3 years from now nobody cares anymore? It doesn't make sense to me, but that's just my little nitpicky thingamabobber. I do have do have The Day the Earth Stood Still as number 21 on my list. So that's coming up very soon. Actually, Patricia Neal is my favorite actress. So, yeah, I'm going to dabble a little bit into Adrian's thing where he likes to review movies that I've seen like 30 years ago. So I'm going to dabble a little bit into that in a few weeks, probably around Thanksgiving later.